Greetings, folks. Ryan's laughing about something. How is everyone today? All right. We got another minute or so and then we'll get started. Okay, looks like it's 1:30. Let's make it all happen. We ready? Does everyone have all the code that we did up till yesterday? We're good? All right, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to continue on with making things happen. At least I think we are. I have high hopes. Let me move stuff in the windows around. Get my chat session open. You guys are quiet today. No one's talking on the mic. The chat is empty. Should I be worried about that? Probably not. Maybe. Perhaps. All right. Let's get to it. So when last we left, we had need to get our database up and running. So let's run our dbbat. And if that's working happily, you should have a command prompt opened up that has all that stuff. And we need another command prompt. So cmd here's my other command prompt. So I want to get this one up and running, so I'm going to type in nodemon. So I got my database running here. I got my web server running here. And it's talking about deprecation warnings. I'm not too concerned about that right now. I'm going to minimize these for the moment. Well, I think I'll minimize the database. I want this one handy, because this one sometimes throws errors for me that I can see. That can be helpful. I should be able to go to localhost :3000, get this stuff. And you might recall we started creating our create.pug last class. Allows us to create new things in our database, but we didn't get enough of it done yet, so it's unhappy with us. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here in index.js and let's learn to handle our create. And so we've got a form here. And the form is going to be @/create. routes.create. But since we have a form that's going to come up, and we're going to submit things to that form, we probably need an app.post. And I'm actually going to send that to create as well, because that's what we put in for the action on our form. And we'll say routes. Oh, well, first, since we're dealing with a form, we better put in our URL encoded parser. And then we'll say route create person. That means we definitely need to create 2 new functions inside routes. That should be routes. There we go. Routes create person. So I need to create inside routes.js, I need to create a create function, and I need to create a create person. And so the create function is going to be basically show me the page that the create.pug, show me that page that is going to display our form that we built. And then the create person is actually going to take the data that we get when they submit the form, and it's going to add it to the database. Any questions about that? Does that make sense to everybody? I think I'm seeing some nodding heads. Let's actually do it, and hopefully that'll make a little more sense. So let's head over to routes. And we've set up some stuff so that we could actually read people if we had any. So we've got our index there. Let's create an exports create. And remember, this one's whole purpose in life is not that big of a deal. All it does is essentially displays the pug file. And so we're going to have a response.render create, telling it to load the create pug file. And then we are going to pass in, we'll pass in a title. We'll call that add person. And if that's working right, in theory, we should be able to go to our add new person. And that's unhappy. Let's see what's going on. Oh, I got an error.
Is it supposed to be an arrow function?
It is supposed to be an arrow function. I forgot my arrow. Thanks. There. All right, add new person. Do I still have a problem? I still have a problem. Let's see. Route post requires a callback. Let me see what I've got going on here. Unidentified object. Let me see what I may have done wrong here. That part looks good to me. I'm going to comment that out for a moment. Okay, that's working. I've got some sort of problem here that I am not seeing, initially at least. Oh, it's because I haven't created my function yet for this. Let me just create a quick function that we'll write later. It's looking for create person and not finding it. That'll have a request, response. And so for now, I'm just going to leave that there, and it's happy now. Okay. So here's my form that we created in Pug before. And so you can enter stuff. We can't actually add a person yet because we haven't written out the code for create person. But that code actually isn't all that difficult to do. Let's write it. So we're going to say let person equal new person. Notice my variable is lowercase, but I am creating a new person, remember, which is our Mongoose model. So new person. The name of this person is going to be rec body name, which that's getting from our body parser. The age of this new person is going to be rec body age. And the species of this new person is going to be rec body species, because this is all the data that is coming from our form when we post it. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, so now we're just going to do a person.save. We're going to pass in an error or a person, similar to what we did when we were doing our find. We good so far here? Okay. If there is an error, then we'll return console error, pass in the error, just like we did up here. And I'm going to say console.log request body name plus added. Put a space there. So you might have noticed I didn't actually put in any commands here to save it to the database, because this person.save method is already taking care of that for me. And after it's saved it, I'm going to do a response.redirect. We haven't done this before. But this is going to basically say, okay, take your form data, save it to the database. If there's an error, output it. Let us know in the console that you have added this new person, and then go back to the root level, that home page. And if I save this now, and I type in Bob, age 21, and we know Bob is a zombie, I can add a person. Whoa! We have Bob in there. This is Bob's ID that was automatically assigned. We didn't set that, but that ID was created by MongoDB. Whenever you add a record, it automatically adds a big ID here. I should be able to go back now, and I should be able to say, Harry, we know Harry is 42, and Harry is a werewolf. I can go here and add Suzette, who at least pretends that she's 34, but she's a vampire, so who knows? We can add Sally in there, and Sally's 28, but Sally's a human. And the cool thing is, look, I can refresh. It's reading from the database. These are actual records stored in the database. So we are doing a create and a read. So we've got two parts of CRUD.
Question then.
Yes.
There's going to be two questions. Can you make the ID smaller, or is that
is the predefined ID.
okay?
It
And
is
say
big, it is ugly. Each one is unique.
say we close a local host and reopen it back up, will it still read the data after it was closed?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. So here we have our Bob added, Harry added, Suzette added, Sally added. Oh, I'm closing it up. And now I'm going to do nodemon. And I refresh and it's still there because it is saved in the database. That data is now persistent. It is with us. It is part of us. Cool?
How would you erase it then?
It's a database, man. You don't want to erase it.
If we had extra properties in the object that we used to initialize the person, would they just be ignored? Stuff that wasn't in our schema?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Or if you have properties that are in your schema that you didn't submit things in, those will just be blank in those fields. We may actually try something along those lines later. Okay. So we've got our create and we've got our read. We need more. We need edit. And to do edit, it seems to me we need a form for that. And the form for that probably is going to look an awful lot like our create form. Don't you think? It would have a lot of the same content. Some things are going to be different. So I'm going to start with my create form from create.pug, and I'm going to paste it into edit.pug. And then I'm going to make some changes. Now, the way we're going to do editing, an easy way to select the record that you want is by its ID. And yeah, I realize those IDs are pretty ugly. But if you look at how we set things up, if I roll over edit, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of my browser, we set up that link. So it wants to go to localhost :3000/edit/ what's that big ugly thing after the edit?
The ID.
It is the ID. And each one, you'll notice as you roll over, is the ID of the record that we're looking at. Okay. So I'm going to hop back on over here, and I'm going to make some adjustments. First of all, with my form, since this is my edit form, I don't want it to go to create. Instead, I want it to go to /edit/person.id. The ID for that record. Cool? And then on the name, I'm happy with all of that, except I want to add value equals person.name. So it's automatically going to populate our edit form with the current name. And you probably want to do the same thing with age. So value equals person.age. Ooh, I made a typo. Everyone make sure you catch this typo. Name is not capitalized, that should be lowercase. So name, age. And then this is handled a little bit differently. We don't put in value quite the same way here. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to add another option, and we're going to say that option selected equals person species. And then we're going to print out that option. So person.species. That makes sure that the selection that they currently are is what actually comes up. And then the only other thing we're going to do is, instead of saying add person, we're going to say update person. That's not too bad, is it? So I'm going to save that. Now we need to go back to our index.js. And I'm going to say app.post slash edit slash colon ID. What does that colon do for me?
It goes through all the IDs to see which one you chose.
Yes. Well, sort of. It's not quite what it does. We've seen a colon before. Do you remember? When I was first showing you Express. It is a variable. They're params, right? These are parameters. And actually, I'm doing the post. Let me do I should probably do the app.get first, which also is going to be slash edit slash colon ID. And this is going to run routes.edit. And since this is the app.post, that's taking our form data. So we need our URL encoded parser, and then routes.edit person, which will actually take that form data and update this person based on their ID. So I can save those, and it's going to give me an error here because I've actually created edit or edit person, but we'll go do that now. So exports.edit equals request response person dot find by ID. Notice the B and the I are capitalized. It is using camel case. Request params ID. So it's finding the ID of the person based on whatever they plugged in for their params. So whatever the ID is after edit slash, it's then looking at that to get our ID. Does that make sense? Comma, pass in our error and our person. And we've got our same little, if there's an error, return it to the console as an error. Passing in the error variable there. Then we can do response.render edit. And we will pass in title, title we'll call edit person. And the person, we will pass in person. And technically, because my key and my ID are the same, I could just do that. And that will pass person as person into our pug. Now, why did I have to read the database when all I'm doing is displaying my edit form?
Because we want to get that certain person they click edit on.
Yeah, we want to see the data on them. So if I now hit edit, oh, wait a minute, having a problem again. Oh, ha. Same problem I had before. I haven't created my edit person. So let's do an exports edit person request response. There. Okay. Now, if I were to edit Sally, let's see. Apparently, I've got an issue here. Okay, it didn't find my CSS. Not too concerned about that at the moment. Let me do something here. I'm going to come back to my index, edit that out and see if it's still unhappy with me. It is. Let me resolve an issue or two quickly. We've got our styles.css. Let me put a slash in front of it. That fixed that, apparently. There we go. So I needed to put the slash in front of styles so that it refers to the root, because I have inadvertently stepped in another level. Because remember, we are essentially dynamically creating new directories. And by adding the ID, it thinks it's another directory down. Does that make sense? So just put a slash in front of your, on your layout, put a slash in front of styles.css, and that should solve your problem. And so here's our edit person. It looks just like the create person, except it's populated with all of Sally's information. Okay, so let's go back and we'll modify our edit person. I'm going to uncomment this, go back to my routes. And this is going to look kind of similar to things that we've already done here. Person dot find by ID. Go get the params just like we did in the edit. Get the ID of that. Put in our error checking. If there's an error, return console.error. Show us the actual error. So all that's pretty easy, right? Now we're going to define person.name is going to be, oh, not person schema. Person.name equals rec body name. Person.age equals rec body age. Person.species equals rec body species. So we've defined person again. We're going to do the exact same thing we did with create. Person.save. Pass in our error and person. Check to see if there's an error when you do that. Console.log rec body name plus updated. So we know that that person's been updated. It's going to say that nicely. And then afterwards, let's do a redirect back to our main, or root level rather. Just kind of looking familiar? I kind of just wrote code like that. So, Sally has a birthday. Sally is going to turn 29. Sally is now 29. And if you look in the console, it says that Sally has been updated.
Can you go back to exports.edit person? I just missed that last part.
Right there.
Thank you.
If you think about it, it's really the same stuff that we did here. It's kind of a combination of what we did in the beginning of edit and the end of create.
What does it mean if it says reg is not defined? It means reg is not defined, but I thought reg is.
Rec is different than reg. REG is not anything we use.
I wonder if I put reg somewhere by accident.
Could be. I do a search. You can do a control F and search for it. Okay, so we've got create, we've got read, we've got update. We're missing delete. We're getting close. Okay, so if we go to index.js, we don't need a post for delete. We just need a get, right? App.get delete :ID routes delete. We don't need a pug page for deleting either. I'm just gonna get rid of it. So back to routes. It's going to be easy. Exports delete equals request response person dot find by ID. Ooh, yet another one of those. And let's use our params again to get the ID. Same sort of thing. Pass in, have an arrow function where we're passing in the error and the person. If we have an error, return that to the console as an error. Oh, let's see. Oh, I made a mistake. Let's, I'll put my redirect in here and then I'll fix my mistake, my little mistake there, because actually Mongoose makes things easier for us. So I've got this find person by ID thing, and everything's the same, except all I want to do is find by ID and remove.
What's the difference between remove and delete? I saw delete in there too.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Same essential thing. Okay, you know, I've been sloppy about my semicolons. You guys should bug me more about that. All right. Technically, that needs one too. So here's what happens. Sally had a birthday, as you know. She turned 29. Harry, being the sort of guy Harry is, decided,
inadvertently actually ate her, and she is now dead.
no, that would be sad. Besides, I don't have a dead option here. He just scratched her and turned her into a werewolf. Sally was not pleased about this. So Sally turned into a werewolf and killed Harry. I like my story better.
She deleted him.
She totally did.
Quite literally.
Okay, Kayla, you're getting.
Don't forget, everybody do participation.
Yes, everyone do participation. And then we'll have Kayla share. Kayla, are you ready to share? Do your participation first. All right, let me bring this stuff up. I will show edit person and delete. Yeah, I'll bring up edit.pug in just a minute. I will save this whole thing, by the way, in case we don't get through everybody else. I will zip it up. There is one more piece I'd kind of like to get to if we can. Because when I set all this up, you'll notice I got a little details section here. So you can click on that as well.
Yesterday, when I was leaving work, I actually saw a car with a mask on the front of it.
Nice. Okay, here's the index.js code. Is there people asking about that?
I've got a question.
Yes.
What would make my ID say div item.id? Is it just like missing a comma or something?
Div item ID. Sounds like you got a problem in your pug.
Div space item.id, like I missed a comma or something.
I'm not sure, but we can take a look.
We can later. It's working fine. We don't have to do it right now.
Okay, I'm going to show edit.pug because there's been a request for that as well, which looks exactly like the create.pug, except I changed the action up here and added the person ID. I added values. And then I just changed it from add person to update person. Okay, shall we go through and have other people share? People that are having problems, and we will try and debug and become masters of debugging.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not necessary yet, but like say someone accidentally clicks on the delete and it just deletes their person. Can we just have like a pop-up like somehow for when they do that and say, are you sure you want to do it?
Sure, go ahead and write that.
Okay. I
So,
was just saying.
so yes, you could do that. And the way you would do something like that is rather than just directly running the delete function like we are, going to that delete page, what you would do is you'd write some front-end JavaScript to bring up a window. Now, if you're writing front-end JavaScript, where would you save that script? Someone tell me. Please get the right answer.
In a separate JS file in public.
Oh, gold star. Love it. Thank you, Dylan. Yes, and I see Ryan wrote that in there too. Cool. That makes me happy. Because that's front-end static files. That's where you save your images. That's where you save your style.css. All of that is stuff that isn't being dynamically built by the back end, so it goes in your public directory. All right, so who wants to share first? Dead silence from the crowd. Everyone got it working? No one has any?
I think I just need to see your index for a second.
Oh.
Index.pug.
I can do that. Index.pug. Okay. Let's look.
Oh, I didn't put mine. Okay, I see.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and Kayla's going to share. Oh, Kayla doesn't have permission to share. Let's change that. There you go. All right. So I'm guessing this is the problem that I was running into. Let's see your index. Okay. So it's looking for, we've got routes, delete, routes, edit person, routes, create. Okay, now let's go to routes real quick. Edit person, delete, edit, scroll up. So your exports edit is part of your create person. You never close that one out. Yeah. Let's see now what happens. That looks happier. Excellent. Okay. Anthony, you're up. Okay, what's it doing? What's it trying to do? It's trying to hypnotize us with those rings. All right. Oh, it's bind, not blind. So I think what you're looking to do there. Hang on a second. Let's see. So if you go to line 6, it's line 6 on mine. Anyway, let me see. Where are you? No, go to your routes.js. And right there on line 6, yeah. Get rid of the L. Save that. Okay, that's happier. Okay, that's a pug error. That's
Yeah, I know what it is. I just never finished index. So I just have to go back to the video and finish it. I can do it myself.
It's href, not, you've got herf.
Oh.
Typos happen.
Thank you. Well,
you're welcome. Okay. I will be posting this code, so if you want to compare it against mine or whatever, that's fine. We have 3 minutes. Do you want me to show you one last thing? See if we can get this thing finished up. Let's do details real quickly. I know. Or would you rather do that next class? We're awfully close. Let's do that next class. It won't take long. We'll finish it up. We'll make sure everyone's on the same page. Let me upload this thing right now as it currently exists. So
in that case, can I share mine now? My delete doesn't work.
Your delete doesn't work. I tell you what, we're out of time. So how about compare it against mine? And if you're still having a problem with it, then we'll talk and do it at the beginning of class next time. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Uh-oh, something weird is happening. It is not letting me zip this properly. I need to stop my, oh, it's because I put my database in there. I don't want my database in there. And I'm going to assume everyone's got their DB bat, so I'm not going to include that because you don't want to accidentally copy over something useful. So zip that up. LMS. Everyone's done participation? Participation survey is done, completed. Some of you stared at me accusingly. I have to say I'm a little annoyed this morning. I had a student do it. I watched them on camera get a big old smile on their face. And then I looked and saw that that particular student stares at me accusingly. No love at all. Anyway, All right, folks. Finally, after 3 days, we have basic CRUD operations. We have everything working. You might think there's a new lab coming. We're not there yet. We got more to learn. A few more features, I think, would be in order. Unless I decide to break it up, we'll see. So it is an excellent time to be getting caught up on other projects for this class. Other classes too, but if you are missing any assignments, you should be getting those done. Tomorrow is the last day of the week. Some of you are like, it's only Thursday. That is correct, because Friday is grading day. We have a 3-day weekend. You have time to get caught up. Please do. All right. Thank you all. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.